did this last Friday, right? Yeah. Days are going by so fast. I'm not even sure. As the older I get, I think about the fact that the Earth is spinning, revolving so much faster around that sun, right? Year. It seems like months instead of years. But welcome back. I know you can't believe that we are back at this again, but I'm really excited about today. Basically because, again, it allows us all to come together and show our spirit, but also kind of feed off of each other as far as the energy, right? This marks our third convocation here at GBSD, the third time. So I'll ask you one last time. Are you ready? I can already tell that it's going to be a great year. We have a lot to be thankful for, and I would like to pause and share many reasons why I think we should be grateful and appreciative of the efforts of everyone sitting here today. You see, we have new and safer facilities. We have some new playing fields and new playgrounds and courts. Also, thanks to the community, we have new classrooms and furniture and even the new mascot at Hall Elementary. We have new career pathways and new partnerships, new board members, and a few new faces in the teaching ranks, as well as a few new leaders to our team. So help me welcome everyone. And this is one of the best. Facilities, all those things are great as well. And for the first time, I haven't been in Oregon my entire career, but I can tell you it's the first time as an administrator I have not been in cut mode. So we have some new monies coming to our schools in Oregon. Oregon is stepping up. Stepping up to invest in our students. And actually we had two of our legislators here this morning, so please again, Janelle Biden and Carla Peluso, please help me welcome them. And friends of schools. They've answered the call during their most recent session by passing the Student Success Act. We all know if our kids succeed, we all succeed, right? That's right. The bill of the Student Success Act is rooted in engagement, in equity, and shared accountability of all. You know, for those of you wondering, yes, I said billion. But it also outlines three specific areas, with 50% of that money going towards our student investment, 20% towards early childhood, and another 30% for statewide initiatives. And it is up to each of us that are here today, to ensure that that investment in public education becomes a success for each GBSD student and the turning point for public education in Oregon. We actually have, again, those legislators with us today, and I really want to thank them, but also I would thank the community as well, because the community has rallied behind this district in the last few years, and again, we have those new items of facilities, playgrounds, and etc. because of the fact of the community. And many of you here, we're part of the community as well, whether you live in Gresham or not. Being here is being part of that village, right? And before I formally begin with my charge this morning, I would like to share a little something that I think is funny. And since we're welcoming everyone back this morning, I want to share a few visuals for families across this nation that have already started school. I actually have a friend, they started the last week of July. I was like, how? But then they get out the third week of May, so makes sense, right? These families participated. You want to cue up those images?
We're having a little bit of issues right now.
Okay. Well, the joke's on me. What did you say that word was, Blake? Gordon Russell? We'll get those up later on. Any good teacher, we roll on, right? Anyway, there are a bunch of images about families on the first day of school. It's something called First Day of School Challenge. They're funny I guess, images, families. One of my favorites that you'll see in the series later on is the children are standing at the bus stop, and the mom, of course, somebody's there taking photos. She prances in front, not once, but twice. She's excited about these. She's excited about her kids going back to school. I understand grocery bills, light, utility, all those things go down. Kids are in school. But again, she goes through that camera twice. And I think it just captured for me. It captured for me my spirit of being excited about this school year. I think, again, my perspective from the parents is a little bit different in the sense that, you see, I'm excited about a new year, and I could not wait for today. I could not wait for today, and I'm sure parents felt that as well. But my excitement is not someone leaving, but someone coming back, and that is you, right? It's been one of those summers. It's been one of those summers that's been loaded with what I like to call the B words of education. Bonds, budgets, buses, and soon to be boundaries. That's four. We only have one left. That's called bails. Nobody's changing bail schedules, okay? Don't ask. Nobody's changing those right now. Those B words I was told a long time ago, and I've come to learn those B words can sting you if you don't get it right? We're only missing the bells. So I'll have to admit that this morning, because of those things, not that I did not like doing those things, because certainly I do, and they're ongoing, but I'll admit this morning that I need a little bit of your energy. I need a little bit from you, and I'm sure there are a few colleagues here amongst us today that need a boost as well. So yes, I couldn't wait for you to return today because I know that many of you have this aura of energy. You know, just look around. This room's been buzzing all morning, right? It's been buzzing. As I arrived, I started feeding off that energy. You know, I thrive on the energy of others. I thrive on your passion for teaching and learning, and your excitement about the possibilities for our students, right? And each renewed optimism, your never give up attitude. So believe me when I tell you that. I couldn't wait for you to return this morning. Couldn't wait for you to return because I know that many of you were waiting to reconnect with your colleagues too, right? Many of you are excited about and nervous about meeting a new group of students, right? I'm nervous as well. And I know I won't be in class with them all day, but I'm excited about the new group. We had some excited kindergartners that showed up in some of our schools last week. They're nervous too. Don't tell them I told you that, though. Right? Many of you, again, would never admit it, but I know that many of you are thrilled about returning to the school year, especially those of you who are walking into new facilities, or new schools, or into a new content area, or even a grade level, right? Just a fresh start to a new school year is refreshing. You see, I couldn't wait for you to get here today. I couldn't wait for you to arrive today because I think we're willing to create that learning environment that Blake was sharing earlier. We want our students to come to our classes. We want them to come and want to learn and to feel welcome, rather than in a place where they have to be at the moment, right? And we began that, what day? Day one. Not someday, day one, right? Your classrooms or your schools is the only place where students feel represented. Sometimes it's the only place they can feel welcome or seen, or sometimes the only place that they truly feel safe. And I think we're having technical difficulties again, but I wanted to show you an image of one of our schools who set that tone the first day last year, and that was Highland. Highland set that tone for their students, which became the tone and the rhythm throughout the year, where they rolled out the red carpet for their families and their students on the first day of school, much like we welcomed our new teachers. Right? Many of you are waiting a chance, even though there are a few more days left before the school begins. Many of you are waiting a chance to champion each and every student that breaks the threshold of your classroom. You see, I was excited about you coming back today because I know that you're waiting to champion that mission, to inspire and to empower each student. And remember, this doesn't apply to just students. It applies to everyone within hearing distance of my voice this morning and beyond. Because you see, kids are not the only ones who need inspiration on a regular basis. We as adults as well, we need it as well. And so I would ask and charge you not to forget about your colleagues. You see, many of you today are waiting to champion our district's vision to prepare culturally responsive graduates who will thrive in an ever-changing global community. And many of you are waiting to champion making decisions that are embedded in our district's values of stewardship, community, and integrity. See, I know many of you are waiting a chance to champion our district's first goal, to provide physically and emotionally safe and culturally responsive learning environments. One that gives students and families voice. That environment that we like to establish, again, beyond students as well as our staff. See, I couldn't wait for you to return today because I know that many of you are already developing ways to integrate the authentic, culturally relevant resources and a safe and caring environment. I couldn't wait for you to return today because I know that many of you are waiting the chance to champion our second goal of providing effective, high-quality instruction to each and every student, which is a major focus within the Student Success Act and an investment priority for Gresham-Barlow School District. So with the various levels of investment for this goal, I know that many of you are preparing. Some of you might be preparing to geek out just a little bit over the ways in which you can help your students solve complex problems. Complex problems with different content blending, like integrating math and art, or science and music and business, or language and the social sciences with health and PE. Of course, in fun and creative ways. Creative ways that will not only inspire our students to focus so intently on the design or the complexities of the problem, that they actually forget that the transition bells are ringing. Or better yet, they almost refuse to leave your classroom because they're so engaged in what's going on with the activities. You see, many of you who teach career and tech ed, ELL, music, foreign language, I know that you're psyched. I know you're psyched about helping your students use their creative voices. Creative voices to communicate globally. And many of you are planning project-based learning. Project-based learning that will help prepare our students for a variety of skilled jobs and creating adaptable makerspace opportunities. I've seen a lot of schools do that well. Powell Valley is one of them. Where's Powell Valley? Oh, come on now, really? Michelle, your team awake over there? That's better. Thank you. And we're looking to do things such as not just STEM, but STREAM, where we add the reading components and make a part of that, which I hope to inspire students and inspire them to fall in love with reading, and hopefully help them also see the value of becoming independent, lifelong learners. You see, no matter the challenge, ultimately, with GBSD's vision and sight, I know that many of you will ensure that our students that they acquire future-ready skills in the classrooms, such as being a globally aware community member and developing open-minded critical thinkers, which are skills that are in demand. They are future-ready skills, right? They're needed for not just a career that a student may someday pursue, but those skills are needed for future-ready skills are needed for any career a student desires. You see, I'm excited about you being back today because I know many of you are planning to review, tweak, and redesign music programs or theater productions. Productions that are more inclusive, that are more representative of our student population, that are culturally relevant, that have culturally relevant themes, and projects that will tap into each student's interests and strength. But we can all work on that together and making sure that our students have those skills. Again, we want to give them future-ready skills that will allow them to be prepared for any career they pursue. You see, I couldn't wait again for you to be here today because I think many of you do not see our students as data points, nor those you constantly have to evaluate. I appreciate you putting a name and a face with the students and letting them know that they are individuals. This whole compliance piece of high-stakes accountability has really taken something away from public education, and hopefully we can grasp that back. You see, it's easy to identify an assessment on math. It's harder to identify independent learning skills, right? But our students must learn this. They must learn that they can learn without considerable differences. You know, instead, we have to seek to build on our students' strengths which is also a part of the Student Success Act, which I was excited to see those words, and we have to bring those to reality. The strengths that empowers our learners to eagerly answer the question, what do you want to learn, before you can even ask it? And where they begin to evolve into independent lifelong learners or responsible creators. Any career they desire, they should have the skills to be able to do that when they walk out of the door in the end, right? I think many of you are also, you believe as I believe, you believe as my grandmother taught me to believe, that all things are possible and that each person has value. You have value because each person is capable of greatness. And as an educator, we have to share that viewpoint. We have to share that viewpoint together. You see, we welcome and accept each and every student that shows up in our schools every single day, right? They break the threshold of your classroom and you welcome them. No matter their challenges, no matter the challenges they bring, no matter the aptitude or the attitude, or the physical abilities, or their ethnic or gender identifications. We welcome every single student. You see, I believe our families here in Gresham Barlow, they send us their very best. They send us our very best and hope that we mold them into someone who's ready for any career that they are ready to pursue. You see, we can collect the evidence and we can make decisions based on that evidence and on data. However, it requires some hard work this year. It requires hard work. We can go beyond the numbers and bring connections and relationships with our students so we know. You know, this evidence-based decision-making, it will mean absolutely nothing if we are not service-based or heart-driven. It will mean absolutely nothing. You see, as educators, you have to believe and expect that your students will thrive because you are their teacher. You are their teacher. You should expect them to thrive. Do you believe we can do that and accomplish that together? Some of you seem just a little bit hesitant. Kelly Creek, what do you say? Just a little unsure, but we got you. Let me try this again. You know, see, again, a few of you may be having missed that point. Maybe you missed that point. So I'll state it again. I truly believe that each student is capable of greatness because of you. If you aren't real sure, you got to indulge a Southern girl with a call and response. So, I always have the repeats, right? I wouldn't tell you I was a frustrated Baptist preacher wanted to be, right? No. So let's do my favorite call and response just a little bit. But you know, that comes with some expectations now, right? How do we do this? Loud and proud. Loud and proud. All right, let's do this. So are you ready? Yeah. If so, let's help those who didn't quite get that. Let's get it together. Repeat after me. I believe. All things are possible. For each Gresham Barlow student. Because I am their teacher. Let's try that again. I am their teacher. Ready or not, you are. So good to know that we have many believers amongst us today, right? You know, with that affirmation, that each student is capable of greatness, then I will say that any challenge that a student brings to our classroom, I say, bring it on. Shows up to not determine a student's level of greatness, right? Right? Call and response. So when some of our students show up next week without their school supplies or lunch money or program fees, greatness is still possible for each one, right? Sure, right? So when our students show up next week with language barriers, greatness is still possible for each one, right? And when our students show up next week without a permanent address or the the necessary proof of residency, greatness is still possible for each one, right? And when our students show up next week with a sincere fear of school, or they're too shy to engage, or feeling invisible, or show up without the basic needs of a human needs being met, greatness is still possible, right? When our students show up next week, some of them with perhaps learning difficulties or behavioral challenges, greatness is still possible, right? Your affirmation this morning is powerful, and it actually just gave me some goosebumps. Actually, my goosebumps had grandkids. But to help each student reach their potential, of course, that every single day will require not just us collecting evidence or data surrounding a student, but rather it will require that we are servant-based and heart-driven. Heart-driven work every single day so that our students can live out the tenets of our mission, vision, and our goals. See, I believe, again, you've heard me say this before, so this shouldn't be a surprise. I believe that it is a moral imperative. We have a moral imperative as educators to serve each student and to empower them with a variety of learning opportunities and access that imperative to give greatness to each student. Because, you see, as educators, we know that greatness is what you give, it is not what you have. So yes, I couldn't wait for you to show up today. I couldn't wait because I know many of you have the capacity to give that greatness and positively impact the lives and change the trajectory of students. So never doubt that I believe in you, and I want you to be able to serve our students, so it's my task to serve you. You see, you inspire me to want to lead better and to lead with my whole heart. Listen, I don't mean to get sentimental on anyone in here right today, but I want you to understand. So let me be very, very clear. See, I can think of no other profession, and I mean no other profession that has the same level of impact, the impact and influence on young lives, or the impact on economic development and the trajectory of greatness of a community, of a locality, of a state, nor these United States of America, as does the quality of education that it provides to the least of its students, right? As does, the quality of education. Its most precious resource, its most precious natural resource, its children. You see, I know I'm not alone when I can stand here in Conference State, but respectfully, that the best way to ensure that America will always be great, you see, it won't be by dividing us. Absolutely not. And it won't be by ignoring the needs of the people. And it won't be by promoting hate or continuously underserving selected populations. You see, it won't be because of legislation or electing one individual or policy or governance alone, but rather by developing access and opportunities, electing leaders who respond to the people, and by building relationships amongst those who are different and have different perspectives and beliefs than our own. Make sure America's always great, you see, it won't be because of newly developed data sets or cookie cutter improvement plans for teaching and learning that requires dissertation level efforts of tracking information, but rather identifying the specific needs and targeted resources and key indicators of success, and by prioritizing strategic investments that are sustainable, realistic, measurable, and aligned with the mission and vision of this district. I believe it starts in every single classroom, every single day. You see, it won't be because we provide students with technology or a laptop or resources on the internet, right? Or digital worksheets. I hope not. Let me say that again. Digital worksheets? No. You can print it out and do it the same way. You probably shouldn't be doing it on technology. But nonetheless, some of you will get that on the way to school. But rather, we have to expect our students to do, well, we have to know what we expect our students to do with that technology, right? Solving real world problems. You see, respectively, the best way I think we can ensure that America will always be great, well, it won't be because of mandated one-size-all curriculums, right? Or school calendars and operational timeframes that are based in a model that is designed for the 18th century and designed for an agricultural era, and in an age of innovation and rapid change, that is a tightrope to walk, right? One last thought about America's potential and continued greatness that I believe begins in every single classroom every single day. It definitely won't be because of high-stakes accountability, nor will it be about collecting data, which truly only measures compliance and surface learning. Compliance which forces us to focus on the weaknesses of our learners. And I'm sorry, but our country's most precious resource, our country's most precious natural resource, our children should not be reduced to a number or a letter or an outcome. There are more ways to measure a student than by testing data. There are more ways to assess you as educators than by the outcomes of your students, right? It's time that we start to consider a strength-based assessment piece, where we have balanced assessments along that framework, which put the focus on where it should be, on our learners' strengths. Do you agree? Yeah. You see, I should have had a louder response on that, because I'm not giving you a pass on that accountability, but I'm sharing that I need you to be creative in your classrooms. Do you agree? I understand it's early morning and you're just trying to get back into this routine of having those dendrites snapped at this early in the morning. But you see, this isn't rocket science. It's not rocket science. And as educators, we've known all along that success, well, is built on one's strengths, not on one's weaknesses. Right? See, again, it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science because, unlike rocket science, this is more complicated. You know, you engineer something that stays there until you take it apart, or somebody drop it. That doesn't always happen in teaching and learning, right? See, our best way, again, lastly, that America will be great is to shift the paradigm. We have to shift that paradigm. And with the new investment in K-12 education, we have opportunities to shift that paradigm and strategically design lessons and activities and teaching to the least of those in an environment that is conducive to each learner, which I hope to help, right? And build on their strengths. And by investing in more access and opportunities and pathway opportunities, they're allowing our students from all walks of life to explore their passions. Now, just the thought of that, I had just had great grandkid goosebumps. I can't even imagine what that looks like. Can you imagine what that looks like in Gresham Barlow or the United States? If we focused on students' strengths as opposed to their deficits? Let me ask that again. Am I speaking English up here? Am I speaking English? Yes. I have to check, because sometimes I revert to that Louisiana thought, right? Am I speaking English? I mean, again, can you imagine what Oregon would be like? We focused on strengths as opposed to weaknesses. You should know that, again, this is a tenet of the Student Success Act. So we have some freedom to do some of those things now, right? Think about it. By focusing on a student's strengths and allowing them to apply, then it makes more sense, right? Yeah? And it helps to strengthen the environment that they're learning in, an environment of trust and respect. You see, it makes no sense. It makes no sense in many ways to focus on weaknesses. It makes more sense to focus on strengths. And when you think about it, when you think about the fact that, you think about it in these terms, right? Students right now, K-12 students make up about 25% of our national population. But let me give you some new math. They will make up 100% of the future. Right? And knowing that public education has played a major role in the history of this country. Actually, let me correct that. To be more inclusive, I will restate that. The fact that public education has played a major role in our collective stories. Honestly, imagine the time and resources we could save by adopting a strength-based framework. That will no doubt boost your confidence as educators and that of our students, right? Which brings me to our third goal, which is to be prudent with the use of resources by applying an equity lens in decision making. See, to be prudent will require us to be more attuned and aware of what is going on. It will require us to put forth a logic model of input, output, outcomes for better returns on investment, or as I like to say in education, for better returns on instruction. See, we have to help our community see the value in viewing public education and educators as an investment, not a cost, not an expense. It is an investment in the community. An investment in the community, again, at large, and as mentioned earlier, Oregon has made a conscious effort with targeted investment areas in K-12. And I'm so excited and proud about that. As I talk to my colleagues across the country, a lot of them are still in cut mode. They don't know what it's like. And I'm not saying everything's gonna change overnight, but that's a step in the right direction, right? And knowing that education has played that major role and is so critical, I sit and I scratch my head and I wonder why. Why do we continue to see major criticism and blaming educators for all kinds of things in society? You see, I know you've seen them on the news. Actually, I don't even watch the news too much anymore. Because it all is negative, 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 negative. That is not the last thing I want to see at the end of the day, right? It's negative, negative, negative. So not necessarily just about education, but in general. But I know you've seen the stories. I know you've seen the postings. I know you've heard radio interviews, the TV shows, and magazine articles throughout that blame schooling or education for everything from crime to economic collapses. You see, I have to say, please don't believe every word, especially of those that are on the internet. Just because it is black and white, maybe a few color photos doesn't mean it's true. Right? Because see, these people, they're not in your arena. Because every time I visit a Gresham Barlow school, you see, I see educators in various roles giving up time to tutor and mentor students. I see educators learning, collaborating, and designing rigorous learning activities and opportunities. I see educators developing critical thinking skills and encouraging kindness, like the week-long activities to promote and encourage kindness that I witnessed this past spring at Gord Russell. I see educators supporting students beyond the classroom and instilling school spirit, like Sam Barlow, super family. See, I see educators hosting school supply drives and writing grants for supplies or handing out supplies that they have purchased with their own money. You see, I see educators in various roles who are dealing with the demands of this job in an insatiable climate. One that demands high achievement and one that demands innovation, which is the reality of every school every single day. You see, I want you to know, though, that I see your heart. I see your hard work. I see your bravery. And not only do I see your bravery, I know your fear of the constant criticism from critics. Critics who are not in the classroom, who are not in your arena, are serving students in our professional arena. So we have to continue to fight that good fight. We have to continue to fight on behalf of our students, in our professional arena. That's every school, every classroom, every single day, right? You see, if we allow those critics to get to us, I mean, it's hard to ignore, folks. It is hard. Never go beyond the last word of an article. Don't go, stop, right? Because some of that stuff can be harsh. I don't believe the hype nor the gripe. I don't believe either one of them. I just do what I know is right for kids. But some of that criticism can be paralyzing, all without having a full understanding truly what the art and science of teaching and learning is all about. And I get it. Not everyone's supposed to be an educator, right? It takes a lot of nurturing to empower millions of students to read independently every single year. You see, I have to admit that there are days that the words get to me as well. And so I know that there are days that you feel defeated. There are days I get into my car, put my head on the steering wheel and go, what the heck was I thinking? And why am I doing this every single day? But I have to remember that hard work and my why to get me back and actually put the keys into the ignition and drive away. And drive to every morning, right? This work requires a depth of knowledge and perseverance and one's whole heart. That is hard work. And you hear me saying that again and again throughout because it does take more than just the mind. It takes the heart and a little bit of perseverance as well. But it will take our collective efforts as a team, as Team GBSD. A few years ago, I found the works and words of Brene Brown, and I had some presentation pieces to put up here, but I can tell you that she, if you don't know who Brene Brown is, University of Houston professor who researches things like fear and shame and bravery and encourages self-reflection and many other positive vibes. Because I'm really trying to lean into criticism. I really am. This is a lot of body to lean though, and I don't always stand up straight, right? I don't always stand up straight, but she has launched a website, and you can find that on the website. On Dare to Lead Daring Classrooms. I'm going to skip through the piece where I had, when I was talking about being in the arena, since we're having technical difficulties here. That kind of threw me off, but I'm an educator, I'm going to roll with it, right? I'm going to lean into this. We're going to lean into this, right? You see, because I believe that, being sensitive, I used to believe that it was being weak, but nonetheless, I know that I have to embrace it. Right? I'm learning that it is my trigger. Yeah, it's my empathy, it's my intuition, it's my creativity. So again, I have to continue to lean into it so that it can fire up my passions for what we do. Right? Because let's face it, human beings, especially those hiding behind virtually hiding behind those blue screens with QWERTY keyboards and active thumbs. Let's just say they can be unapologetically cruel. Right? For the hard work. They don't see the planning. They don't see the time you spend putting into those efforts, right? See, sources outside of your personal abilities, they can't lean into those things. And so I'm going to roll down to our last part of this and share with you that know that you're not in that arena alone. Look around. Look around at everyone else fighting in the same arena as you, who've left their armor behind, but are passionate and vulnerable and ready. Ready to try again and again and again. You see, that's the beauty of education. We get a new school year every year. That is the beauty of it, right? The beauty is, again, a fresh start every single year. Every single year. I love that. Get to make a difference in new students' lives. And with that said, before I wrap up, I want to reiterate one last time. See, I couldn't wait for you to be here today because I know that many of you will continue to shift your instructional paradigms with the needs of each student and will readily refuse the status quo or hard work. So you see, our students, they love chasing inquiry. Help them chase that inquiry process and chase it to take their learning off-road. See, many of you will embrace the necessary hard work, and there will be some who will be a little bit more cautious. It's driving the slow lane. Many of you, I know, though, wouldn't take that route because it's easy, right? You want something more challenging from what I've seen in this district. Again, I couldn't wait for you to be here today because I know many of you embrace the challenges, you embrace the frustrations, and you embrace even the critics, right? But don't let them distract you from our mission of inspiring and empowering every single student, every single day. You see, it's truly that one critic, that we hear loudest in our heads, the one that's judging us, that's always pointing fingers, that's laughing 99% of the time. Guess where that critic is? right here. It's in your head, right? Because you focus on that and not all the great things that you accomplished that day. You see, they are the stories that we tell ourselves as educators, right? That voice, that inner voice, that it drives two big distractors from greatness. The story we tell ourselves of, I will never be good enough, and if you can get past that one and experience some success, this is the kicker. Who do you think you are? That's known as imposter syndrome, and I suffer from it a lot. A lot. See, I don't think I'm supposed to be here right now, right? I don't think I'm supposed to be here statistically if I just relied on the data. If I just relied on data, I shouldn't be here. But you see, I couldn't wait for you to be here today because I want you to know that the public truly supports educators. I know that to be true because everywhere I go, no matter who I'm with or where I am, I love asking this question. Who is someone that changed your life for the better? And by profession, guess who? And by profession, guess who? Absolutely. So to me, that shares and confirms the fact that they do support you, right? And finally, I couldn't wait for you to be here because many of you decided, despite the national rhetoric, many of you decided this profession is your career choice. And for that, I applaud you for the fine and noble choice to join the ranks to do hard work. So on behalf of the board, on behalf of the district team, I want to remind you that we are one team. We are one team with one dream to inspire each student, but also to inspire each as well as ourselves. And we may continue to make a difference. And like our students, we also have to expect greatness from every single person. Not just our students, but our colleagues, and expect to thrive. And as always, we can begin that journey one day or on day one. You choose. Go be that teacher. Thank you.